This video is recorded on September 11th, 2020. 19 years after an extremely solemn day for America. On this day, 19 years ago, 4 airplanes had been hijacked by Islamic terrorist group Al-Qaeda. 2 had hit the World Trade Center. 1 had hit the Pentagon. And the last one never reached its target because the passengers fought back. That airplane, United Flight number 93, crashed in a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. It never hit its target because the passengers fought back. For many years, we didn't know what that target was supposed to be. Some high-ranking Al-Qaeda members confirmed that it was the U.S. Capitol. For the next few years, we would spend so much of our time hunting down members of Al-Qaeda. We're still doing it today, alongside the members of other terrorist groups. 7 years after 9/11, the U.S. Army eventually killed Al-Qaeda's leader, Osama bin Laden, without whom we expected Al-Qaeda to fall apart, but they're still going. "9/11 is a day that I don't think anyone in America will ever forget. It was a day where we had been attacked. A day where people, innocent people, lost their lives. A day that had killed close to 2,966 people. The passengers on the airplanes, the employees at the towers in the Pentagon, and of course the New York City police, fire, and emergency response departments. They risked their lives to try and save people, only to get killed. There is now, as I've been told, a wall in New York City for all those who were dead or missing. It is a solemn day for America. A day that we can never forget. Everyone I know seems to hate the month of September. Most people I know who still go to places like any kind of school, they hate September because, well, it's the month they have to go back. But people I know who are out of school or have jobs or anything hate September because they know that they'll have to go through another 11th of September. A friend of my family's got killed at the Pentagon. He was a contractor. What annoys me is that everyone says the Pentagon was not as bad as it could have been. The reason they say that is because most people had been cleared out. They were redoing a lot of those offices that day. They were repainting some of the offices. People still got killed at the Pentagon, including the painters. And that's where he was. A friend of my family was a contractor. He was repainting one of those offices. And he got killed. He never did anything to anybody. He was just doing his job. There were probably a lot of people that day who were in the same position. They never did anything to wrong anybody else. And they got killed. Just because they were Americans. And while I do agree that this is a day we cannot remember, a day we cannot forget, a day we must always remember, there is one unreasonable thing people do. In middle school, we had a classmate who nobody would talk to because he was a Muslim. How do we know? Well, for some reason he told everybody. I don't really bring it up, but living in the state of Ohio, I see people beat up other people. I don't see it often, but when I do, I just walk away. Yeah, I know that's not the right thing to do, but then better that than to just get involved in the fight. What you do is you tell people. Don't just be so scared to run away. You run towards someone who can do something about it. Some kind of authority figure. So while I do understand people go through pain, for God's sake, do not just randomly beat up Muslims. And yes, I do understand. Al-Qaeda is an organization of Muslim extremists. But the key word in that is extremist. They take this stuff extremely seriously. They kill anyone who doesn't believe in Muslims, believe in the Muslim religion. And yes, Al-Qaeda is just one of many Muslim extremist terrorist groups. But here is something that was told to me years ago that a lot of people either were not told or choose to ignore. Yes, all Al-Qaeda are Muslims, but not all Muslims are Al-Qaeda. Not all Muslims are terrorists either. Most of them are pretty decent people just trying to live a good life. And if you make any kind of racist comment, you will be blocked. I don't care what I have to do, I will find a way to get rid of you. To get rid of your comment. Yeah. So, for those of you saying that... And for those of you who say that it is not really my place to do any of this, you're right, it's not. I hold no political office, I hold no position of power. I'm just your average American citizen. But I have my freedom of speech. I have right to come on here and say what I would like to say. Freedom of speech can be hurtful. Seriously, and yes, there are some things you shouldn't say. But this is a problem I think needs some attention. We do acknowledge that Al-Qaeda is a Muslim terrorist group. just one of many throughout the world. But not all Muslims are terrorists. And I'm getting tired of people running up to Muslims, punching Muslims in the face or the stomach or whatever, and saying, this is for 9/11. And yeah, I know it's not my job to speak on their behalf because I am not a Muslim myself, and you all would probably prefer to hear this from a Muslim. But some people, if they heard it from a Muslim, well, they'd probably just dismiss it. And honestly, I doubt this video will get more than, I don't know, 5 views. But that is something I have grown incredibly tired of. See, there is already enough racism in America. We don't need any more. So yeah, never forget 9/11. Never. But don't blame all Muslims for the actions of a few of them. To blame all just for the actions of a few, well, that is racism. How long must the sons pay for the sins of the fathers? I understand some of you lost family or friends in 9/11. My family lost a pretty close friend. We will never forgive Al-Qaeda, but we do not blame all Muslims. And since this has just been 12 minutes of me repeating myself over and over, and I bet you're all tired of hearing it, I will just say, yeah, this was a terrible day for America. And we don't want to remember it. But if we forget it, it means nothing. So, yeah. Never forget. Never forget.